week. The SEC announced last week they're going to a 10-game schedule, and then yesterday announced its adjusted football practice schedule with games set to begin on September 26th. College football reporter, analyst, NASCAR analyst, and reporter for ESPN. Does it all. A part of Levitard and Friends podcast. You can catch him everywhere. He's a New York Times best-selling author. From ESPN is Marty Smith. Our good friend is back here with us on OTB, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Good to catch up with you. Good morning.
Great to have to chat with you guys this morning. I appreciate you having me. How's it? What's the humidity level in BTR right now?
It is pretty hot.
It's
on right now, Marty.
It's summer
on right now. But it's football weather,
yeah.
and out on LSU's practice field. They are not practicing right now. Coach O was here yesterday, said he's going to delay it a little bit he was waiting on the practice plan to be announced by the SEC. It was announced yesterday, so they'll work back into it. Marty, how crazy has this offseason been for somebody like you who covers the sport?
I think the word of 2020 is unprecedented, right? It's just been very different and odd, and I do have conversations on a daily basis with various programs and the folks within those programs, and that includes Coach O, who joined Ryan McGee and me 2 Saturdays ago and was very adamant that we're playing football this fall and that they're going to forge ahead and be prepared to play football. And that also includes Greg Sankey, who put together that conference-only plan starting September 26th. And my prayer, and that's literally prayer, is that we have the opportunity to be immersed in college football this fall, because and not just for the entertainment and the distraction of everything that we've managed as a country, but also because of the hope that those young men offer us. Now, of course, that all comes with the necessary statement that is their safety first. But from the vast majority and the overwhelming majority of people with whom I've spoken within the programs, the kids want to play ball. Now, I know that Rashad Bateman and Caleb Farley and reportedly Micah Parsons up at Penn State, some of these really, really talented players are opting out. I don't think Parsons has officially announced that yet, but it's being widely reported at this point. Farley and Bateman have, and that's, 2 of the top 20 or 25 players in America. So there are instances where young men don't want to play, but I think the overwhelming majority seem to want to. And then you have the Pac-12, the young men in the Pac-12 who sent out that document that they want to see some change. So it's just a very unique time, guys. And I'm 44 years old, and I've never really experienced anything like it, and I'm sure you haven't either.
Right. Orgeron sounded great on Hillbilly Headlines, by the way. So take me to you.
There's a surprise coming.
Whoa.
So let me explain that to you guys. So I adore the man. I love his spirit, and I love his passion, and I love his approach and how vulnerable he is in discussing his own personal evolution as a man. And so we had him on a couple weeks ago there, and I said on the next show that we miserably failed in not having him do liners for us. And so, of course, Derek Panansky hits us up and says, what do you want him to say? And so McGee and I sent a couple of liners, and not only did he do one of them, he did a couple of them. And the one that we used on Saturday is hilarious, but the one that we have in the bank will make people have to, like, they'll pee their pants. Wow. I mean, it's the funniest thing you've ever heard in your life. So,
whoa, Marty. Okay, dude, that's
all
a
right.
good
I
tease.
like it.
It's so funny. Like, I want it to be my, I want it to be my Coach O ringtone, but I'm too stupid. I'm so old. I don't know how to use an iPhone. I got to ask my 14-year-old son how I can make that thing that Coach O said about Hillbilly Headlines, my ringtone when he calls me, but I don't think he's ever called me, so maybe it's a move.
Marty Smith, Marty Smith from Marty and McGee's on Twitter at Marty Smith ESPN. I'm going to give you real-time news here, and I just want your reaction as a face and voice of college football. UConn just canceled their college football season. What do you make of that?
I saw that. I saw it right before you guys called me. I think it's sad. You know, I put myself in the player's shoes, and the reason that I have this mindset is because, like, you think about us. I know that there are some people who had the opportunity to play at the next level, the collegiate level, or the NFL certainly. But there's the vast majority of us are Buddy Garrity, right? Like, you think about the high school kids who've had their seasons taken away. And one of the greatest years of my life. I've been so blessed beyond what I deserve to experience in this life. But my high school senior season was one of the sweetest things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's those guys, that group of guys taught me so much about me and demanded so much of me. And so there are young men out there who are 17 and 18 years old who are having that taken from them. And now you think about those kids at UConn who the vast majority of them ain't going to the league, right? So some of them, it might have been their last chance. And even if they get their next year of eligibility, will they go ahead and use it? I don't know. But I can't say I'm shocked. Are you guys? I'm not surprised.
I'm not either.
No. I mean,
I saw it, and I went, I saw it. I saw the news, and I went, all right. It's awful for them, but all right. I mean, nothing's really that shocking anymore, fellas.
Yeah, nothing in the group of five, I would say, especially Marty. Now, in the Power Five, going conference only, attempting to kind of control the chaos, it looks like you're feeling a bit more positive. I don't mean you, I mean all of us feel a bit more positive that football may happen in that regard. Let's ignore a lot of the potential pitfalls. Let's say football's going to happen this year. The SEC goes to a 10-game conference-only schedule, which is actually, from just a pure quality standpoint, better than a normal 12-game schedule. Do you have, when you look at this, do you have any kind of big winners and losers? Like, which teams do you think are affected most positively and negatively by this move?
I saw something on the internet when the SEC first announced it. Like, poor Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I think that the great teams are still going to be great. I think that there are some teams that are going to be very much improved. I look at Tennessee. I look at Ole Miss. And like what Jeremy's doing in Knoxville, and Lane is a great coach, man. I think that he has a way to galvanize people that's very unique. Mm-hmm. You don't meet a whole lot of people in this life who truly don't give a hoot what others think of them. And so I think that what's going on at Ole Miss is promising. I have a very high expectations in y'all's neck of the woods, even though you lost so much talent.
Yeah.
Including the number one pick in the draft and the Heisman winner, and your running back, et cetera, et cetera. There's still so much talent down there. And, whether that's Stingley, and I was having a little bit of a comment. I don't use Twitter very much because I think it's an absolutely wretched place. but I did see yesterday two people that I respect greatly in Albert Breer with the NFL Network and Bruce Feldman. Yeah. We're discussing Jamar Chase, and I just kind of chimed in on their little conversation that I had the great blessing, as you two do. I saw a lot of LSU football practices last year. Mm-hmm. Coach O let me stay when I was covering the team so closely towards the playoff there. He let me stay in practices, and I got to see Jamar work when the lights weren't on, when the cameras weren't on, and I was so impressed. And I said yesterday, and I actually kind of stole this from DP, that the next play he takes off will be the first play he takes off. So I just admire his work ethic. And that's like that. You learn a lot about young men when you're seeing them as hot as hell down there and they're working. And so I do have very high expectations for the Tigers. My expectations for Alabama are out the roof. Georgia too. Be really interesting to see what Kirby decides to do with his quarterbacks now, right? I mean, all of a sudden he has this embarrassment of riches with a couple of really good players. So there's going to be some heads knocked, man. That's a brutal prospect for the players, and it'll be interesting to see how the teams and the support staffs manage that type of grind. Because, that November 11th game where it's always like Bama versus Mercer or LSU against Louisiana, whoever.
Right.
That doesn't exist, right? It's going to be somebody who will knock your face off. So it's going to be fun for us. Those of us who are watching it are going to love it, and I'm certainly among those. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. How about – and I know that y'all pay attention to the ACC, certainly, but not as close as the SEC. I find it intriguing. The ACC's plan is intriguing to me that they did a +1. Yeah. And you got Notre Dame is going to play for a conference championship for the first time. And that's going to be very difficult for them, too. I love it as well. I like that plan.
Marty Smith, college football, Marty and McGee. Last one, Marty, we'll get you out of here. Your responsibility in the fall, when we talk to you, you routinely tell us how little time you spend at home because of the days on the road.
Yep.
Antonita Collins was here, who was a Sports Center anchor a couple of weeks ago, and was talking about what it's like covering sports these days. What's it like for you, who your responsibility is so much travel, building relationships, on-the-ground reporting? Do you have any idea what that's going to look like coming up in a couple of weeks?
To be perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working through that too, as everybody is. It has been very odd, but I consider it to be such a blessing to be immersed with my family the way I have. Guys, the last airplane I was on was March 13th.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
That is by far, that's the longest in my adult life by probably 5.5 months. I mean, when COVID hit, I was on an average of 12 planes a week because
12 planes a week, Marty?
Yeah, because I was doing college basketball with ESPN. Like, they added me to the Super Tuesday college basketball broadcast team this year, which was an amazing experience with Carl Ravitch and Jimmy Dykes and Jay Billis and Dickie V, and it was just a crazy experience. But we were in the middle of the SEC tournament. I was standing on the court with Greg Sankey when they found out. And so maybe that'll be in my next book. I don't know. But what I will say, having covered NASCAR so intensively because they were the first sport back, what people don't realize is, guys, I didn't get on airplanes and stay in hotels. I drove an RV myself to Talladega. I drove from Charlotte, North Carolina to Pocono, Pennsylvania, where an RV was stationed outside the track for me. And I covered the race, and then I left. Wow. And it's an 11-hour drive. So
that's a Marty party right there, boy.
Marty. Oh, heck yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what was a party was that 80 minutes I was in park. The truck was turned off on I-81 because someone had an accident. But anyway, I appreciate y'all having me. Thanks for listening to my rambling dribble. I love that place. I love the culture there. It's got so many friends there that I just adore, and I appreciate y'all having me. And keep on hoping, baby.
Absolutely,
That's what
baby.
football is. It's hope for all of us.
The love is sent back to you. We will talk to you soon, hopefully in a college football season. Thanks for the time this morning.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Later,
Thanks,
man.
Marty.
There's Marty Smith checking in from the road this morning.
I wanted to ask, but we're out of time, but did he drive the RV?
Yeah. Because I remember
Somebody
watching the
else didn't
report
drive
in
it?
Talladega, and he was talking about how he drove his RV down there. It sounded like he didn't drive the one to Pennsylvania. It sounded like he had one waiting on him.
If ESPN's got me flying 12 times a week, you best believe I'm getting somebody else to drive the RV, dude, like 1,000%.